Welcome back to another anime review. I'm Johnny Jigsaw, and today I'm talking about an anime I was skeptical to like at first, but I really enjoyed. Fooly Cooly Alternative. Now, obviously going in, nothing is ever going to match the original, ever, really, because it came out at a time where anime wasn't really oversaturated. Everything was made for the sake of making art, not saying Fooly Cooly Alternative wasn't art, it was phenomenal, but everything was made for the intention of making art. It took its time, and it really had... Every anime had something to say, right? But anime has become a lot more oversaturated since then, being more popular in the West than ever it was before. But I think overall, Alternative did the best at matching that original feeling. I would say it's on par with the original. It really does capture the feeling while still being a more modern take on it. Apparently it's supposed to be a prequel. I'm not sure how legit that is. Whatever. But let's get into what I liked about it. Characters, story, pacing, and structure. Those are what this show did the best. So the main character is Kana, a girl who goes through a character arc where she sort of injects herself into situations that has nothing to do with her for the sake of being liked and trying to keep things the same. Whenever her friends are going through something that doesn't concern her, she'll kind of push and shove her way into these situations for the sake of helping and fixing. But really, nobody asked for this help. And it leads to creating a sort of tension, right? That she doesn't realize that what she's doing is selfish, and she realizes that over her character journey and the arc throughout the show. Now let's go on to structure. Right? Structure, I don't remember the other characters' names to be honest, but that's why we're going into this. Structure, and also Kana's very relatable, but structure, I'm sorry, I'm backtracking again. I also forgot her themes are very about growing up, coming of age just like the original Fooly Cooly and wanting things to stay the same, right? And that's part of why she does what she does. Now, structure, I think, is very close to the original. And that's part of why it's so good, but 3 episodes towards, character growth of her friends, 3 episodes for herself, and it leads to phenomenal growth throughout the series and phenomenal writing, which she does also appear in Shoegaze and does have phenomenal writing in that, but this is about Alternative, not about Shoegaze, and for some reason I watched Shoegaze first, not Alternative. I didn't know she was in that. Anyway, I think Kana is at her best in episodes 1, 3, 5, and 6, right? So I forget which episodes they were, but episode, I believe 1 or 2, focuses on a sort of relationship where one of her friends breaks up with her boyfriend because of Haruko. And she sort of shoves her way into it and tries to confront her ex-boyfriend when she wasn't asked to, for the sake of keeping the friendship together because she liked the guy. And it sort of comes to a head as her friend kind of, not wanting the help and being fine with what happened, right? And that's kind of first step on her character journey of, Kana. There's another episode where her friend is sort of overworked at something she's passionate about and her job, and she interjects herself by getting her and her other 2 friends to do her job for her and try to be her assistant in this fashion show. And it ultimately kind of ruins her relationship with this girl for a bit. And again, is kind of building up towards what is the second to last episode where one of her friends leaves the planet due to the ever-growing, worsening climate. And she sort of, has a falling out with her that doesn't get resolved, which is very telling of how real relationships are, where she ends up just leaving because they had a sort of thing where she sort of goes off on her for not saying anything to her and this, that, and whatever, when really she's just being overbearing. And this is where she finally has that realization when her friend, kind of lays into her about how everything she's doing for all these other people are things they didn't ask for. She's being selfish for the sake of, keeping everything the same, right? And then in the final episode, it kind of leads to what all Fooly Cooly seasons do, which is growing up, realizing that for all her attempts, things can't stay the same. They're going to change, and she learns to be okay with that. And it kind of ends on a sort of somber note, and it kind of continues on with shoegaze, but it would have been perfectly fine if it ends there. And that's kind of how Fooly Cooly should end every time, on a sort of somewhat somber note, because that's just how things go, you know? And I think that's part of what made this season so magical, is out of all of the Fooly Cooly seasons post 2003, this one understood the original the best, and what makes Fooly Cooly what it is. Now we're at the end of the video where I talk about if I would recommend it to you. So out of 10, I would rank Fooly Cooly Alternative a 10 out of 10. Now I know I did a bad job explaining it, but you're just going to have to watch it for yourself. Now I would rank the original a 15 out of 10, so, you know. But I would rank this a 10 out of 10. Would I recommend you watch it? Absolutely. It was a phenomenal show. You can find it on Adult Swim if you have the Roku or Fire Stick. And it was such a great show. I would highly recommend you watch it. And yeah, it was definitely, up there with Fooly Cooly, one of my favorite animes. And I would definitely watch it again. So yeah, give it a watch. Take care.